let's go send the link to the respective parties. So I stream on YouTube and I also stream on Twitch. I believe all my information should be somewhere, wherever you're looking at this video here. You will be able to find whatever information I got. Well, all my information, or you could just ask on whatever form that you're looking at it. There we go. Today's day 18. But I live stream on the weekends, but I don't count the weekends in the trading live stream. I just don't trade on the weekend, but I definitely live. Yeah, we can leave that up there. Let's contact the respective parties. One more, I could just close that. Um, if you want to be part of my contact list, not my contact, but people that I send the live stream directly to, you go ahead and do that. But I suggest that you, if you see me on YouTube or if whatever you're getting this, go on my YouTube, um, click what, go subscribe and then click the bell for notifications so you get notified when I'm on live stream. So I don't have to send it to you. But if you want to join the Discord, I send it to the Discord every morning, and that's what I'm doing there. Then I can go ahead and exit off of this. Perfect. And then let's clean up some of these tasks right here. Just make sure the computer runs efficiently. So I clean it up after I get everything out the way because I'm gonna have to open Discord and all these other things, send out the information, and then okay, Word document. I gotta go ahead and is Word even open? It is open. Eesh. Not doing that. Oh. Calculator needs to go. OBS Task Manager Chrome stays up. Discord can go. You can see it's already taking so much. Dropbox, not even use Dropbox Live right now. All my HP services can go. I went to my startup programs and none of these stuff show up as startup programs, so I just manually have to shut them down. Once I just get a different computer or whatever like that, then it'll be faster. I just didn't put two and two together that processing speed and graphics processing speed. I should have known because I'm good into computer technology. I went to school for that basically. I had some courses in high school. I can't even say I went to school for that. I went to school for business administration. And whatever. But yeah, but I know better than that though. That you need it. I didn't put two and two together. It was the graphics card that, not the processor only. The processor does play a part, but graphic card is a bigger part. No, I'm trying to get widgets off. All right, and that should be everything. And test, test, test. We should be running efficiently. All right, guys. So the first thing that we do, open Google Chrome, and we gotta see Money Mayweather. Salute to the best ever do it, manifest. And you guys have to watch that All Assets video. When he went to the bank and withdrew all that bread, just to flex. This is before people was flexing like that, just to flex. Yeah. So first thing that we do every morning is that we go to forexfactory.com/calendar. There's an app for that as well. It's gonna be FX my FX books on App Store and on iTunes. You go ahead and look for the news events there. So for today is July no whoop, today's August 7th, Thursday, August 7th. Uh Jesus Christ. Read it back some. Good morning, guys. Welcome to another video. Today is Wednesday, August 6th. And we do not have any high impact news events, and we don't have any bank holidays today, so it's nothing to look forward to today. Now I've been noticing over time that if we don't have news, we're probably gonna get into the trade earlier around before 8:30, and we'll probably get out the trade in less than an hour. So that's probably good news. That's on a probabilistic basis. Now markets can do whatever it want whenever it wants. So don't bank on that. But we don't have any news today. We have news tomorrow. Um, but that's neither here nor there because today isn't the 7th, it's actually the 6th. So, no news events today. Same thing I say every day. We do not use news to make any directional bias. We don't use news to figure out what we're gonna do for a trade. We just look at news to figure out when we're gonna have high impact news. Where when markets might move volatile, have volume, and move certain distances and time that movement. So this is the only place where you'll be able to time market movements where markets might move a certain direction. Every other time, you just gotta let markets move how it moves. But when we have high impact news, the probability of it moving um rapidly or in a higher range than regular is going to be during those news events. Sometimes it happens at those news events. Sometimes it happens a little bit after, like we seen yesterday happened an hour after, where we actually seen the effects of news. But stuff like NFP, CPI, PPI, which is very, very volatile news events, they usually happen in the first 5 minutes after release, maybe second before, 2 seconds to 5 seconds before, like 8:29 to the 55th second. Then we start seeing news start accumulating, and then at that 8:30 second, once it turns 8:30 on the dot, boom, instantly you're gonna see a reaction, and then for the first 5 minutes, it's gonna continue that reaction, and then it might stop after 5 minutes, moving rapidly, or it might continue. But those are only those three news events: NFP, CPI, PPI. Let's say those are the only ones, but those are the only ones with a high probability of it moving like that. And those news events can also whipsaw, or they could just not move at all. They're more because everything in trading is on a probabilistic basis. So you just can't guarantee it. So yeah, that's it for news. The next thing we're gonna do here, let me go ahead and just run TradingView in the background. Click the wrong button. Just let that load up in the background. The next thing we do is we're going to open our Forex VPS or our virtual private server or our computer on the cloud. So I use a company called forexvps.com. They host a computer, a server for me somewhere in Sydney, Australia, where it's always going to have an internet connection. It's always going to be on because I live in Turks and Caicos. We are liable or likely to have power outages due to weather or just technical difficulties and things of that nature, and all as well as internet outages. For some reason, the internet goes out sometimes, or the internet gets slow, gets choppy at times. So, because I'm running an EA and indicator, and I cannot, I usually don't turn off the MT5 or I don't close the application. I have my MT5 applications running 24 hours around the clock on a server which is protected from surges and internet outages to not affect my trading. Now, if you're running the EA on your personal computer, you can do that. But if you're going to work or whatever like that, you want to leave your computer on as long as you're managing the trade with the EA, you leave your computer on. But if you're just executing with the EA, you can turn your computer off and then manually manage the position on your phone, or whenever you get a notification that market is moving, you could go on the computer or go on your phone as well. But I like the VPS. It's more business oriented. In the future, this is kind of going to be how I'm running the programs. It's just an extra level of security, just in case your computer could crash, your computer gets stolen, information is gone, whatever it may be. This is just an extra level of security, extra level of insurance on the program. So since I got the VPS open, I'm looking at my IC Markets account. This is going to be my live account. Yesterday was a great, I wouldn't say a great day. Yesterday was a winning day. We made what about around $200. I withdrew $156.96. I just sent it to my bank account. You want to make a habit of when you're making profit, especially on the live account, of making the withdrawals, making more money, making the withdrawals. When the account starts going to the drawdown, you're not making any withdrawals. You're waiting till you build it back up. You get into some more profits, make withdrawals, so on and so forth. Now, if you could go ahead and deposit money into the account, for sure do that, because if you're trading on a percentage basis or a dollar amount basis, you're gonna start risking more and making more, and then you'll be able to withdraw more. But that's gonna happen over time. I take my time with all of this, take with a grain of salt. So yeah, this is my second withdrawal, my second withdrawal of profits. I've made account transfers and stuff like that. So the first withdrawal was last week for 130. Today is this. Yesterday I did was 150, and I'm also figuring out how IC markets how long it takes for it to get to your bank account. Usually it's about 3 days. Last week I did it on a Thursday. I didn't get into next week Tuesday. So this time I did it on a Tuesday. I should be able to get it on Friday. I'm expecting to get it on Friday, and then that's how I'm going to also figure out my trading method, how I'm going to trade, and when I'm going to make the withdrawals on a weekly basis. Because if the best time to withdraw and get paid is on a Friday, and the withdrawals on Tuesday, I could do like the trading day, and then maybe I don't know, figure it out how much I'm supposed to leave in the account for the withdrawal from the trading from last week, and then process it on a Tuesday to get Friday, and have that process happen over and over again, unless I figure out a faster method of withdrawing funds, right? So do total profit on the account is gonna be $300. We're at $300 profit. I probably withdrew a little bit over $300 so far. That should be 130 and minus 130 plus 150, 180. Yeah, somewhere around there. Less than $300, but profitable nonetheless. That's what's up. I think we went to like drawdown for a little bit, and we brought $111 to what 600 something, and we've been maintaining that $600 range so far. There we go. There we go. So yeah, that's the IC markets. And then we got my FTMO account. The FTMO account, the history on the FTMO account is legendary, I would say, in my opinion. So my first version of my trading strategy, my first version, it was pretty decent. I had long winning streaks of maybe 12 to 15 trades in a row. Brought the account from 200,000, 217,000. Then I went to what I went down to. Probably went down to what 200. I went probably down. I lost the 17 grand, and that probably went into drawdown maybe another 9 grand. So I lost 20, maybe 25 grand over just mistakes, spreads, and just errors that I didn't account for when I was back testing the strategy, and then not being as aggressive as I should have been. So even though I have all of these winning trades consecutively back to back, when you do go through losing streaks and mistakes, which I'll never make that mistake again with NFP, um it started eating at my profits, so I stopped taking these little profits, and I started taking more aggressive profits, and I was able to come back from drawdown, and then now I'm technically in profit. But the way that now, especially because I was taking those little profits, I was losing a lot of money in commissions. You see, every time I place a trade, get in a trade and get out of a trade, I get charged maybe like $30 or so. um which is $60 one way for that one trade. Probably touched me about like for $60, 65 and plus, and I in the fees right there, I done lost maybe $3,000 in fees just trading. The cost of trading cost me 3,000 in fees. So that's gonna take away from your profits. So I basically made my net profits is $22,303. But my gross okay, my net profit is 2,300. My gross profit is 5,400, and that's 3 grand gone in fees. And I've been had this account for like 2 months now. So the longer you trade, the more you lose money in commissions. You gotta put that. And then now I figure out that after a while of taking the small profits, I noticed that I'm leaving a lot of money on the table. So I adjust the strategy to take more money. It was just my trading. For a long time, I didn't have the right trailing stop method. I figured it out finally. And it all comes from consistency, going in the markets, seeing how the markets move live, not back testing, not letting the EA work by itself. Uh, Watching the activity live, I was able to formulate a trading stop method that I'm going to incorporate into the EA once I'm able to afford to pay the programmer to do that, incorporate it. But it's been working so far, and let's see how long it's going to work for. And let's stay on our toes. Now, after finish talking about that, we can go ahead and go down my checklist of what the things that I have to do. So usually I go and make sure algo trading is turned on. If you look at the top left hand side, you want to make sure you have this green triangle. It look like the button is pressed in. That means the algo trading is on. Okay, as you can see, I do not have my my EA on, because yesterday, since we had news at 10 o'clock, and I was interesting. Okay, let me go ahead and do that. Yesterday, since we had news at 10 o'clock, and I was trailing the stop loss, and I want to see if my if a different not an EA, it is an EA. I want to see if a different EA will do a better job at 2.75. Better job at trailing the stop, and the EA didn't work at all. I gotta go ahead and talk to the people about that. As well as I figured out yesterday that I need to put a 17 pip stop because I am front running my buy and sell stops by 1 pip. This would bring my stop loss 1 pip below the 15 pip level, as well as leave my EA, not EA, but my entries 1 pip above the usual. So I used to have entries at 5 pips above and below price. To accommodate for spread, I put it 6 pips above and below price. That would bring, and then I would use for my stop loss. I needed to be, instead of 15 pips, I needed to be 1 pip below 15 pips, and then or in terms of a sell, 1 pip above 15 pips, to accommodate for spreads. And I figured out that I thought it was 16, but it's actually 17. It's gonna account for the extra pip I put in for the entry, and the extra pip I'm putting away for the stop loss, which is +2 to 15 and 17. And then we can put the ES 6 pips. Now you see, now if I didn't go through the checklist, I would have assumed, or I would have forgot that I had took off the EA to let the other EA run while I was testing it, and then I would have, you see, and I would have not known. Or if I would have left the EA on, or I would have put the EA on without putting the settings back, it probably would have traded at 5 a.m. I had that happen to me before, and then I'm not using any specific trading stops right now. Make sure everything else is false. Risk percentage, risk percentage. You see that, guys? You gotta make sure, double check, triple check. We doing a 3 to 1. Risk percentage is gonna be 2%, and then risk reward is going to be 2.75. Hmm. See, a double check, double check. Now I'm gonna be just like an airplane pilot where they have that big booklet. Even though everything is proper, you double check and triple check, um, because it's important. You might have forgotten some. You might not forget nothing in a long time, but when that one day happen where you forget something or you slack off on double, triple checking your work, it's gonna cost you. For airplane pilots, it cost somebody their life. For me, it's gonna cost me money. Risk percentage, we risking 2% of trade. TP is 2.75. As well as coming on the live stream earlier at 7:30 instead of 7:45, and not scrambling to be doing stuff. You see, that's the importance of journaling. I journal everywhere. I journal to all types of journals, notebooks, uh, everything here. All types of journaling. Uh, Keeping track of what you're doing, because I can't predict what the market's going to do next, but I can predict what I do next and how I execute. And that's my job, and how the program is operating and how I manage the program. That's my job. And I have to do it to the best of my ability with no mistakes, right? The things that I can control, I'm going to control. The things that I can't control, I'm going to let be. 2300. Since this is military time, 1500 is going to be 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for me, in reference to my broker. 2330, and then 2330 is gonna be 4:30. I want to be out the markets if I don't hit my TP or a trailing stop at 4:30. And let's double check it. Everything is false for the rest of the settings here. Let's check risk percentage. Correct. As you can see, I'm still tripping. This is not FTMO, so I'm not risking a percentage. I'm risking a fixed lot. Since I have 400, I can go ahead and it's basically 100. Um, since I have 400 in the account, I did point 0.6 the other time. Let's try 0.75 this time. We'll do 0.75, and if I did what 3 point, what I was trading like 3.7, we'll do 4.5. Let's risk a little bit more today. Hopefully, we get in the win streak. If we don't get in the win streak, we get in the loss. What? I did 3.7. Let's do 4.5. Let's do 7. Yeah, let's keep that 7-0. And then we'll do 4-0. Let's not go too deep into it. That's pretty good. Since I didn't account for that and only have 5 minutes, let's be a little bit conservative. So the first trade is gonna be for a point 0.7 lot. We're doing a fixed lot. We're not worried about risk percentage. TP is 2.75. Stop loss is 17.6. 1500 true. There we go. And we click OK. Algo trading is on. Blue hat is on. Let's double check the FTMO again. Algo trading is on. Blue hat is on. Now we could go over yesterday's trade. It was a pretty decent trade if I do say so myself. And that's what markets gave. I'm not gonna take credit for it. And it actually went a little bit higher, which is great, right? So what happened was we entered into a buy stop. Let me go down into 5 minutes so you can see the mental agony we had to suffer first. So we entered into markets end up moving bullish, triggering our buy stop over here. Interesting. Yeah. So markets open at 1.15397. Went ahead and triggered our buy stop over here, including a little bit of spread. Markets went up 15 pips. We reached a 1-to-1, and then after that, we just kept on moving bullish, 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 and I held it. I trailed my stop loss as markets every time markets move 15 pips. I'll trail my stop loss behind it 15 pips. Until we reached over here, and then we were trending for, consolidating for a while. Now, I'm gonna work on the average time to hold the trade, which I already said, which is around like 12 o'clock. I believe that's when, on average, this is when market hits its peak. Now, because we had news at 10 o'clock, I gave it a little bit more wiggle room to move past 12 o'clock, maybe. Like, I was gonna leave it for the rest of the day because when we have news around 10 o'clock or 2 o'clock, more 2 o'clock, you'll see the move end at 5 o'clock. But on the average, markets make its peak, whether it's bullish or bearish, high or low, as a 2 minute warning around 12. But I wanted to see what it's gonna do, and I was gonna continue trailing it, either or, right? But markets ended up coming back down. Come on. This was wait a second. I'm gonna go back. This is my FTMO. The FTMO, I was more aggressive. No, we would have got stopped out regardless, right? Regardless. So since I was gonna leave the computer and I don't have the EA trading for me and I had stuff to do during the day, for the FTMO, I put it 10 pips below instead of 15 pips. We wouldn't got no extra anyways. And then for the live account, I was a lot more aggressive. I brought it up a little bit more. But yeah, nonetheless, market started consolidating around this range. I just needed to hit this level one time, and I would have trailed up my stop loss as well. We probably would have been locking in around 8 grand, but you know, can't complain. It came back down. Ranged about, I think this might be like 3 pips lower than, maybe 3 pips lower below this line right here. Which one? One, two, three. The third bullish 10 pip line, which is 30 pips in profit. And then stopped us out there. We got 45 seconds still news, and then we made $5,727.14. We was up almost 10 grand. I wanted to close, but I didn't. And then commission was 73 cents. And then this is my IC markets. We closed a little bit more aggressive because this is live money, and I wanted to withdraw it, so I made it a little bit closer. And then we got stopped out. And look at this move right here. You don't see that now. So put my hands behind my head, and we are going to automatically execute a buy and sell position at the new ADM candle open price in the next 5 seconds here. That's why we call it the freehand EA. We don't use no hands. Pause. All right, as you can see, the E had executed the trades for me. We have the volume or the lot size 0.7. We got a buy stop above and below the ADM candle open price. Price has opened at 1.16038. Our buy stop and our sell stop are set accordingly. Our buy stop and our sell. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit more because my I'm getting some optical illusions right here. Do, and then let's look at my FTMO. Go ahead, close that out. My FTMO. Yep. So we got our positions. We got our positions in 23.8. But I don't know why the lot size is less than, I believe lot size is less than yesterday. History. Yeah, why would it be less than yesterday? 24.58 was a lot size. 24.58 was a lot size yesterday, and I had less money in the account. Let's double check. Let's see what's going down here. Go to my experts. To the beat of the drum. Which percentage? 2%. And I usually risk 1.5%. I believe it is lower because I use a 17 pip stop loss other than a 7 pip stop loss with a 6 pip open price buffer. Okay, the risk percentage is correct, but remember yesterday my trade executed with a 16 pip stop loss instead of a 17 pip stop loss, so that would accommodate for gotcha. Gotcha. We spread that 2% over 17 pips instead of 16 pips. I got it. I see what's going on. No, it executed properly. The math is correct. All right, guys, let's go ahead and drop down and see what's going down here. Remember, we still have to stop losses spread away. Our entries are 1 pip away. 878, perfect. And then let's see, our TP has to be trailed. That will move our TP. Now I gotta readjust in the settings. Readjust TP percentage. So I need to figure out what is the percent with a 6 pip price buffer, a 17 pip stop loss, to get my TP to be at, if it's my TP, I still want my TP to be 30. How much? I have to do a base off the EDM Canada open price 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 49 pips away from the ADM Canada open price. Interesting. I gotta do that mathematical equation. I'll just put it in ChatGPT and it's gonna give me the right percentage. Because I added that 1 pip, it's throwing off my TP, which is fine. And then because TP is only based on percentages, I can't do it off of pips. Um, it's throwing it off. I could tell the engineer or to tell the programmer program um TP pip input. So instead of only having the option for put my TP in a percentage, or I mean, is it risk reward? It's based off risk reward. Instead of putting it based off a risk reward, I could put it off of a exact pip amount. That should be easy for him to incorporate as well. Not say that he's gonna charge me any less. So the new TP is going to be at 1.165, 1.16528 for the buy. On 1.16528. Okay, and then for the sell, it's gonna be at 1.15545. 4.8. All right, that's gonna put it 1 pip above. So we get out early and we stay in longer. And that's based off of spread. So the spread when you're going to your take profit, when you're going bearish, is going to go ahead and put the axe price, which is the price that broker's gonna get you at, opposed to where the market is actually at behind it. So even if markets hit where my original TP was supposed to be, is usually about a pip, point 0.3 of a pip, and sometimes up to 5 pips away from the actual price. So to accommodate for that, I just bring it a little bit closer to make sure I execute more than I'm left out. As well as my stop loss, I put it away because when price is moving towards your stop loss, usually the axe price, especially when the market is moving bullish, is going to be ahead of the actual entry price to get you out of positions faster. So I have to put my stop loss a little bit away of where I would have usually put it, so to account for spreads, because when you're back testing, you don't actually have live spreads, so you're actually doing off of exact numbers and exact math. And because you have spreads, whether you have a raw account or you got a dynamic spread account, it doesn't matter. When it's high impact news or very volatile, your broker is going to charge you spreads. And then that's going to affect the outcome of your trade that you did not calculate for when it comes to back testing, especially when you're scalping. Every little micro pip matters. There we go. And then I got to do the same thing for IC markets. Uh, should be the same. Sometimes it's off by a pip, but usually the same. 1.16528 for the buy. 1.16528 modified. And then for the TP for the sell, we're gonna put it at 1.15, 1.15548. All right, and then we should be good. All right, let's drop down to the uno minuto. All right, and then for the 1 minute right here, we're gonna go ahead and see price open at 1.16038, and then we're fluctuating over here. If we get to hit the sell stop, the buy will be deleted. If we go ahead and hit the buy stop, the sell be deleted, and that's gonna be automatically done by the E8. So we don't gotta worry about that. We're all ready, locked, and loaded. So the next thing that we can go ahead and do is go and do some technical analysis on TradingView. Hopefully, the computer don't lag too much for you guys. Double check. Never bad thing to go ahead and double check. Okay, my thing says I have a flare that I have to use. How do I use this flare, bro? Okay, claim. Let me see. Claim. All these bonuses and stuff like that. Claim. Okay, I claim all this bullshit. Now, where is this flare that, okay, flare. Use a flare. Flare in use for 30 minutes. All right, I guess I'm gonna be promoted more. So, whatever. All right, let's go to do some technical analysis. Update the charts. I got my ref. I tried to um go abstinent on the Celsius, but no, I done restocked on my Celsius. I needed that, man. It definitely makes me feel a lot more. Not only does it help more my workouts in the morning, and my body don't hurt as much when I'm doing the workouts. When I didn't have it the other day, boy, I was grueling. And then I'm more snappy with it. I'm not tired and stuff like that because I wake up at 4 a.m. About time it's 8 a.m. I already been up for 4 hours. In a little bit, that's usually when people go on their lunch break. Um, but that's actually when the trading is popping. So there you go. So let me go quickly go over yesterday's trading activity in terms of the MagnOpus Trading Grid. The MagnOpus Trading Grid is a form of analysis that I've created based off of price and time after proportionately divide price over time. The grid is start at an exact hour and it tracks hour per hour. Well, it doesn't matter what time frame you use, but on that exact hour, I start tracking how price moves in increments of 10 pips. Um, I've noticed that Euro USD around New York session time, between the times of 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. will move an average minimum of 20 pips in range. So it's from the 8 a.m. candle open, it could go up 10 pips, go down, it could go down 20 pips, a range of 20, up 10, down 10. The range is 20, and I built a trading strategy around that range. I was taking a partial profit out of that range, but it wasn't conducive. It probably is conducive now because I figure out the trading stop, but I'm a more aggressive. I'm taking all the money right now. I'll probably be less aggressive when the strategy starts going to a losing streak. But right now we're taking all the money off the table. But that's neither here nor there. But this is one of the most, I believe, simplest ways to do technical analysis, to read how charts are moving, as well as to build trades on a proportionate risk reward basis. So basically, what it is at the 8 a.m. candle open price, we build the grid. So yesterday the candle opened at 1.15397. We're gonna put this black line on that grid. The line is gonna span from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. I believe that's 9 hours of time. This is the time that we're gonna be awake to trade. You got to remember, you can't look at all price activity because you're not gonna be awake to be trading at 2 a.m. You're not gonna consistently be awake or at the computer at 12 o'clock if you got a job. You gotta be able to you have to be able to section off a period of time in the markets that you know you'll be 100% dedicated to this time period to taking a trade, managing a trade, and closing a trade. And for me, I figured it out to be around 8 o'clock to 5 p.m. If I have the EA running, this is a time that you can actually be at work and let the trade manage. As well as I put, as you can see from my MT5 on the server, I have those lines. All of those lines also are alerts. So when price reaches those lines, the MT5 is going to send a notification to my phone as well as a notification on the computer that price has reached that price. So I can go ahead and look at markets when it actually makes a move that makes sense. Instead of just sitting at the markets and watching markets play out and checking the markets on your phone, especially if you got a job, you can't be doing that. You want to be able to you want to check the markets at important times when you need to look at it. So that's what I built it, and the grid is also in increments of 10. And since I have my TP, my stop loss, my entry based off of this 5 to 10 pip increments, you're able to proportionally measure out a 1 to 1, a 2 to 1, your entry to stop loss, how to trail, how you're measuring, how price is moving. So I can say price is moving an average of um 5 pips an hour, or it moves 30 pips over a certain amount of time from 8 o'clock to 12 o'clock. It helps. It defines market movements and forms a technical analysis, and what word could I use? Or it structures price activity proportionately for trading. I'm gonna figure out a better way to articulate myself with that. But it's also the easiest way to understand how markets move. Now, not only does the 10 pip increments help with the trading, but it helps with the technical analysis in a way that markets only move in two directions. I don't care how zigzaggy, confusing markets actually look. Markets are actually not irrational. They are rational. They are calculated. They're run by mathematical algorithms and computers. There's nobody at JP Morgan. There's nobody at Wells Fargo. There's nobody at Chase Bank. There's nobody in these institutions that is going on a computer and say, okay, I'm going to buy and sell for $3 trillion. They will never leave that in the hands of a human being. They leave those in the hands of computer algorithms, and computer algorithms use mathematical equations to work. You use mathematical equations to program it. You use mathematical equations to execute trades, move markets, move price. All of that stuff is based on mathematics and time. Price and time is the only thing that you need to trade, and that's the only thing I use to trade. It doesn't matter what indicator you use, what averages and whatever. All those things derive their information from two things: price and time. Doesn't matter how complex and fancy it is, it's still just price and time when you boil it down. Now, since markets only move two directions, I mapped out, or I created a grid to map out how price moves. So if price moves 10 pips, put a dot there. If my price moves 5 pips within my trading range, I'll put a dot there. And then every 10 pips bullish. Now, if price moves up 10 pips, it's a green dot. That means it went forward 10 pips. If price moves down 10 pips, that's a red dot. That means that markets move bearish or down 10 pips. Now, if markets was moving up 10 or more pips and then it moved down, I'll put a blue dot that represents that it moved 10 pips, then it moved back down 10 pips. This is a reversal. It's an indication that it may be a reversal, continue moving down, or it's a pause where in a mathematical terms, plus 10 minus 10 equals 0. So that move over that period of time is net 0. It went up, but it retraced that. And then when you start looking at the patterns that markets make, you be able to explain it. So um, let's explain how markets moved yesterday. So the black dot that I have here represents, since I'm trading around the 8 a.m. candle open price, I have a buy stop and a sell stop 6 pips above and or 6 pips below. Um, put a black dot to indicate when the trade was executed. This is not an indication of technical analysis because I'm only looking at 10 pip moves. But when the trade executes, I put a black dot just to indicate that I'm in a buy or a sell. I use a black dot because it's indiscriminate. I don't care if it's going to go bullish or bearish, but I use a black dot just to indicate what at what time and at what price markets went bullish or bearish 5 pips. So yesterday, markets, the 8 a.m. candle open took about 5 minutes to go ahead and move 5 pips bullish, triggering my buy stop. Oh, 6 pips, guys, because I have spread. Triggering my buy stop, so I go ahead and put a dot there. Now, the technical analysis is based off of 5 and 15 pips. My trading is based off of 6 pips and 17 pips loss. But that's to accommodate for spreads. As you can see, TradingView does not have spreads built in. That's the optical illusion to help you lose more money in trading, but that's a different tangent. So we moved bullish 5 pips, triggering my buy stop. We did fluctuate, as you can see right here. We fluctuated. We went down about 14 pips down, almost about 2 pips away from my stop loss, and it did this at least two to three times where it was in the range of 5 to 7 pips away from my stop loss. So markets went up, down, up, down. If you look at the minute charts, you'll be able to see it better. But we went down, but we did not hit the bearish line or the bearish level 1, which is 10 pips below the 8 a.m. candle open price, where my mouse is over here. We pivoted back up, back to the 8 a.m. candle open price, and then we went back up 10 more pips bullish, and we made our first strike, right? Our first strike, or whether bullish or bearish, is going to be at 10 pips above or below. As you can see, we went 10 pips above the 8 a.m. candle open price, which is 5 pips above the entry of our buy stop. Now we're 5 pips in profit, and then we made our first 10 pip move. Now we're looking for our next 10 pip move. So based off my strategy, I've noticed that wherever price moves at 8 a.m. candle open 5 pips bullish or 5 pips bearish, it's more than likely continue that move throughout the session of 8 to 5. It's really from 8 to 12, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, that's where I believe the move is gonna go. Markets can usually, more often than not, this is my edge. More often than not, prices can continue in that direction. So what happened was markets reversed back down 10 pips, retesting the 8 a.m. candle open price. Now I'm negative 10 pips in profit. It went back down to 5 to 6 more pips. Now we're in drawdown. Now, whenever I see this blue dot, or I put that blue dot there, that means that markets went a direction. In our case, it went bullish 10 pips and went back bearish 10 pips. This is what I call a pause. You don't need to be alarmed. You don't need to be scared. This is just markets just fluctuating around the range. And this is more common when you have news events. When you have news events coming up, markets is not going to go ahead and move before the news events. It's more than likely going to consolidate, collect trades, and then when news happens, it will go. So the first retest of, or the first retracement of 10 pips we move 10 pips is a pause. So don't worry about it. And then what happened? Markets went back up 10 pips, retesting the first bullish level. Then it went back down or retest a second time of the 10 pips. It went plus 10, negative 10, net zero. Plus 10, negative 10, net zero again. Remember, we got news at 10 o'clock. The second one, usually on any other day, I would say that you have a 50-50%, you have a 50-50 chance now of market continuing the direction that you were in or reversing and going to the opposite direction that you were going in, and you usually going to lose the trade or market's going to go against you some more, right? But since we have news at 10 o'clock, I would say now instead of 50%, I would say 70, I would say 25% chance because we are consolidating, but it's still 25 to 30%, 35% chance, right? Of it continuing in your original direction now. Um, so it retested it again. And then what it did, it went back up 10 pips. Just bullshitting with us. Now that 10 pips, now that was around the 10 a.m. news. So once it went back up 10 pips, I'm confident now. Now in as time goes by in my trading and my experience of watching this market happen, I'm probably gonna be a lot more aggressive. Because if it tapped that line 3 times and it was not able to go any lower, that's like triple confirmation that we're gonna continue in the direction. I said it in my video before. And then what happened? Marcus went bullish and it popped bullish. And it continued going bullish without any retest anymore. You don't see it going back 10 pips on any of the levels. So it went bullish. The next 10 pips, it went bullish again. The next 10 pips, it went bullish again. The next 10 pips. And then what happened here? We paused. We didn't go down 10 pips or up 10 pips. We was ranging between like a 5 to 7 pip range. And this is also around 12 o'clock. Like I said, where market reached its pinnacle, and then it will just flutter out an average of 10 pip range until 5 p.m. and then we should be out of the trade by then. So what happens was markets went back down 10 pips. It ended up hitting my trailing stop because I was trailing markets as it moved forward. My stop losses continue to move behind it. And then it retested and then it just finished, right? And then throughout the London session from 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. consolidated, and then this morning it went and it popped a little bit further, which is great. And look at that. So I didn't do no bullish engulfings, no bearish engulfing, no trend lines, no Fibonacci, no complex mathematical equation. Plus 10, minus 10. You went up, you went down. I trailed my stop loss or I hit my stop loss. I hit my TP or you know what I'm saying? Simple mathematics that you can prove, that you could back test, that you go to every single day of the year, every calendar year, and see the same patterns happen over and over again. And you can calculate and you can quantify these patterns. You don't have to trade how I trade. You could build different strategies. While I'm backtesting in my brain, I'm building different strategies. And it's all based off of the same thing. And it's also proportionate. So your risk reward is already ahead of you. So if I have a 10 pip stop loss, 10, 20, 30, 40, I got 1x, 2x, 3x, 4x, 5x risk reward. You get what I'm saying? It's not like based off of structure. Now I gotta divide it in half. Now I got a stop loss of a 50 pips to catch 50 pips, and then your time frame is different. I'm not even gonna get into time frame. Whatever. But yeah, mine's is a lot more superior than everybody else's. Not to say it's better, and I don't want to say it's superior. I don't want to toot my own horn. It's different strokes for different folks. It's best for me. Is 100% better for me. It is better to explain. It's easier to explain. It's easier to quantify. It's easier to backtest, and it's easier to prove than others. I wouldn't say majority of others. I wouldn't say. I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to get into my ego and feel like I'm better than anybody because I'm not better than nobody else. I don't care what they do. There's a lot of other traders that have different strategies and different systems, making a lot more bread than me. So I can't complain. All right, let's double check because I don't know if I got a notification or not. Yep, Marcus just playing around. We kind of got close to our buy stop, but not really. Yeah, let me zoom in on this one a little bit more. I'm not gonna stretch this out. 5 minutes? Yeah, 5 minutes look a lot better than me. 15 minute is a lot better for me in terms of like candlestick analysis, which I just do in my head. I try not to share that with you guys because it doesn't really matter. Because as you know, markets could respect support and resistance. It could violate support and resistance. That thing could do whatever it wants, whenever it wants. But what markets cannot do is disrespect time and price. All right, let's go ahead and I gotta put this at 8 a.m. All right, what I'm doing is lining up the left hand side of the box with the 8 a.m. candle to encompass the price activity that's going to happen between 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. As you can see, the left hand side of the rectangle is lined up with Wednesday, August 6th at, my bad, right here. Wednesday, August 8 a.m. And then the right hand of the box is going to represent Wednesday, August 6th at 4:55 p.m. Since I'm using 5 minute candles, Marcus is gonna open at 5. I mean at 8 a.m. So I have to put the line at, or I gotta put the left hand side of the box at 8 a.m. at the 8 a.m. candle, and then at the right hand side, I have to put the box at 4:55 because the 450 at the 4:55 candle on the 5 minute charts, the candle closes at 8 a.m. It opens at 4:55 but closes at 8 a.m. And then you're gonna line up the boxes like that. So you gotta remember you're looking at candlesticks. Those candlesticks have a range, a duration. Um, if the left hand side of the box represents the start of the time frame, and the right hand side of the box represents the close of the time frame, you have to put the left hand side at the open candle, which is going to be 8 a.m. candle open, and then you have to put the right hand side at the close of the candle, which is going to be 4:55, which closes 5 minutes later at 5 p.m. All right, blah blah blah. Boy, I'm on a rant here, boy. And then let's go ahead and copy and paste over the grid. And then this is another thing which makes my MagnOpus trading grid and then the template and everything so easy to use. Once you draw it out one time, all you have to do is copy and paste it over and over. All of the data points, the lines, the box, the dots, all things that you just copy and paste. No more trying to figure out if you have what they call those things. You don't have to figure out if how Marcus is bouncing off the trend line. You don't have to figure out all these other stuff. You just have to copy and paste. And you're always going to be accurate because it's all based off of mathematics. So as it looks from my point of view, my point of view, nah, we still haven't. We tried, we still haven't done it. But I'm gonna get a notification when it does. So see, my issue is the problem with this one chart right here is on this chart is based off of FXCM, their data. And I know TradingView has FTMO. Next week I'm gonna start charting on FTMO because this is not gonna be mathematically accurate, but visually it's the same. It's off by usually it's off by a pip or two, maybe a fraction of a pip, but it's still not 100% accurate. But since I have all of my technical analysis on this, I just use it. But just for you, all I do is I use it with a grain of salt. As you see, I do all my calculations and executions for trading on the excuse me, based off MT5. I don't do it based off a trading view. I just do this for technical analysis for the visual representation of what's happening. Um, but it can be more accurate. I'm not. I'll out myself for that one. So boom, 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 boom. What we got? Marcus open at, let's go ahead and use, what you say, Money Mayweather? Let's go ahead and use the actual open price, 1.16038. Marcus open at 1.6. So we're gonna click on our black line, which is gonna represent the 8 a.m. candle open price, and the length of it is gonna be from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., which is 9 hours long. Um, while I was saying that, I forgot 1.150. That's my 8:30 alarm. I forgot where it was at. My bad, guys. 1.1603, not 15. 1.16038. That is good. This is gonna be what I'm gonna name the line, and then I'm going to coordinates to go ahead and make sure it's lined up with that price exactly. Boom. That's gonna give us the 8 AM candle open, and then the first bullish level one, which is 10 pips above the 8 AM candle open, is going to be the 8 AM candle open price plus 10 pips, which is 0.01. I usually do it in my head, so 1.16038 plus 1. No, plus 0.001 is gonna give us 1.16138. So usually what you do is you plus or minus the third or well, yeah, 10, 100, the thousandths place of the decimal over and just add or subtract one. That's usually how I do the grid. It's very simple. But if you want to use a calculator, you could go ahead and use a calculator. So that's the new one. And then for the first level one bearish line, which is 10 pips below the 8 AM kind of open price, which is 20 pips below the first bullish line, I'm going to subtract 20 pips because I already copied this number over. I have to subtract 10, 20 pips to get the accurate price of where the first bearish level one line is going to be. So if I had already copied 1.6138, I have to subtract what, 20 pips, which is going to give us 1.15938 if my math is correct. I copy that, Control C, Control V, Control V, and that is going to give us 10 pips below the 8 AM candle open price, and then 20 pips below the first bullish level one, 10 pips above, 10 pips below, and that's even. Now I gotta go ahead and adjust where my buy stop and sell stop is. Since I have the sell stop is closest to the bearish level one, I click that, and then what I'm gonna do here, I'm going to add 5 pips from this price, which is going to be, wait, from 1.15938, I'm going to add 5 pips. And now I got to go to the what? 10, 100,000, 10,000s place on 5 pips. 3 plus 5 is going to give you 8, which is going to give us 1.15988. Copy that. Coordinate, coordinate, and now, as you can see, we are smack dab in between the 8 AM candle open price and the first bearish level one, which is 10 pips below the 8 AM candle price. Now we have right in the middle is going to give us 5 pips. This is where our sell stop is going to be. And then we could go ahead and change where our buy stop line is going to be at. And then since we have copied over the sell stop line, the buy stop and the sell stop are a distance of 10 pips apart. So we're going to paste what that line was, and we're going to add 10 pips, which is going to be 1.16088. If I'm confusing you, I apologize, but after doing it over and over again, or watching my videos over and over again, or just doing the mathematical calculations on a calculator or on paper, you'll figure it out. And then look, it's all proportionate. As you can see now, we have yet to touch the buy stop line, which is 5 pips above the 8 AM candle open price, or the sell stop line, which is going to be 5 pips below the 8 AM candle open price. And once we do, we are going to put a black dot here to indicate we have entered into whether it's a buy stop or a sell stop. And I thought if I talked this long, we would at least get into a trade. It's 8:33. It's 8:33. We don't have any news. The only thing we could do right now is wait. I did have a topic that I wanted to touch on, which I kind of did touch on, but I'll touch on it in a second. Let me gather my thoughts. Drink done. I need to drink a whole container of water. I'm gonna refill this water because I just drank Celsius, and that thing saps all the water out of your body. You be dehydrated. You've been drinking you drinking Celsius for hours straight. Once you stop drinking Celsius and or Red Bull, you get dehydrated. Unless you drink more water, you don't feel better. All right. So we're close to the buy stop. We're close, but we haven't touched it yet. Get the fuck out of here. Me not like that. My boy Sylvester liking the stream. Appreciated my guy Sylvester joining like. Let's see what else like. Everybody else is just haters, right? Everybody else just haters. All right, let me go get some water, guys. Give me a second. All right, I'm back. Got to get my little protein and potassium in. Got my peanut butter and banana breakfast. I ate. I ate like What is whole grain? I doubt it. Okay, we might be hitting our buy stop in a second. But is whole grain wheat bread? Is it wheat bread? Whole grain bread. Is that healthy? I doubt it because they be lying, even though it's whole grain or whatever like that. I don't know how healthy it is. I know I was supposed to get a spinach wrap, but I didn't get the tortilla wraps, but it's made out of spinach. I think. I think that's healthier than white bread. So I got whole grain wheat bread instead, and I ate like 3 sandwiches yesterday. Um, I don't know, man. I felt like I think bread. I don't know if it stays in your stomach long enough or too long, but I felt guilty. I make breakfast. This is my breakfast for today. I got yogurt, low fat yogurt, as well as I got low fat yogurt, peanuts, and I'm eating this too. Like those ramen noodles and stuff like that. Those noodles and soup and stuff like that. Not that healthy. Ready? Trying to I got abs already. I know I have abs. It's just that I don't know. I had ate bad for a while, drinking beers and alcohol and all types of stuff, and then I got some type of a little bit of bloating. It's not bad. Like I know it's not body dysphoria, whatever the fuck that shit is called. Like I have a great body, but it could be better. I don't know. Sorry. My body is nice. I just know niggas with 0% body fat. Hell no, y'all niggas not gonna hit me with that one. Bro, their skin is attached to their muscles. I don't want no bloating or nothing like that, bro. I'm trying to get back to that. And then now that I'm getting older, then my metabolism is slowing down. So I gotta be extra careful. Like back in the day, bro, I could go and do anything, eat anything, but that's over with. Over with. Spread came back, so spread's pretty good right now. All right. It looked like we're almost gonna reach our. There we go. We got triggered into the trade, guys. We are in a buy stop. If you look at the bottom there, the sell stop was instantly deleted while I was eating. Same thing for the live account over here. All right. And based off the strategy, we are banking on it, continue moving bullish for today. All right. For at least 15 pips, where we're gonna trail our stop loss to break even. Since we don't have any news today, I'm not gonna be too aggressive on markets, but you never know. Some days with no news, still move, bro. Everything's based off of probabilities. So there we go. We entered into a buy. On the live account, I should believe it on the live account now. I'm going to scale in when markets make a 1-to-1 or move 15 pips in profit. I'm going to put another trade in for a point 0.4 in case markets decide to continue in that direction. Since my first trade is gonna be at a 1-to-1 with the stop loss at break even, I could afford to risk more on the next trade, and then that one is gonna be half the size of the original trade, just in case that we continue moving in that direction, that I make more money. Gotta do this off. Look like we pushing, guys. Since yesterday was a bullish day, hopefully we continue on that trend of bullish. We do have some resistance to the left over here. But like I said, markets could do whatever it wants. It could respect resistance. It could disrespect resistance. We're trading off of probabilities now. Where the likelihood of it continuing that direction, 15 pips or more, which is really 10 pips or more, is gonna be more likely than not. So once we let's not once we do it, we could put the black dot to indicate that we got into a buy, and then shortly after, I believe in the next few seconds, there we go. We have acquired or reached bullish level one, which is 10 pips in profit, and I mean that's 10 pips above the 8 kind of open price. I think we're trending a little bit higher as well, so that's great. And I know you guys seen it do that bullshit. I know you guys saw it do it. How the hell? There you see it now. Try to readjust. Telling you, bro. TradingView knows that I figured out the markets, and it tries to move my technical analysis over, which is probably cap. I believe that it's just the way that my screen is adjusted in the resolutions that is trying to make it proportionate. Because I have a pretty big curved monitor, and even the HDMI cord, I don't think that it's the right one. I thought it was. It said 4K, but it'd be iffy. But it was doing that weird stuff before, so I don't know. I believe in conspiracy, so I think that they onto me. So black dot indicates that we are black dot indicated that we entered into a buy position because it's on the blue line here. And then we're going to put our first green dot representing that price have reached 10 pips above the 8 candle open price. So we're 10 pips above, 5 pips in profit, a little bit more than 5 now. And then now what I can do, I'm going to copy and I'm going to clone this line over. And then using the original price of that line, I'm going to go ahead and add 10 pips, which is going to be 1.16238. Change that 1 to a 2. Copy the title over. Remember, when you're changing the price of the line, don't start at coordinates, because coordinates is going to be based off of where you copy the price, where you copy the line over to, which is not the price. So make sure you change the text and not the coordinate first. Once you change the text, then you can copy it over to the coordinates. And that should be our next objective for price to reach, right? Click outside the box and then drag this up some. All right, so our next level is going to be 1.16238, which is going to give us a 1-to-1. Once we reach to the 1-to-1 over here, we're going to trail our stop loss to below the buy stop right here, 1 pip below. And then let markets continue to move. And then on our live account, we're going to go ahead and enter a buy position of half the original size, and then put our stop loss below this level as well. And then for our projection purposes, in terms of technical analysis, markets can and is more than likely to, not more than likely to, but is more than welcome to come back down, retest the 8 candle open price, and then move forward. Like I said, it's a natural price movement. Markets move up and down. To reach a high point, markets don't usually rocket up straight up, and to reach a lower point, markets don't usually go straight down. Now it's possible, but is it probable, right? It's more than likely to zigzag, go up, down, higher, more, make higher highs and higher lows until it reaches the area that it wants to head to. And now it looks like it's proving me wrong, and it's showing me that yes, I can go straight up. Yeah, so that's what's up. So on the 5 minute candle, we did break and close above previous support. Especially when you're breaking close above, markets definitely like to retest the break and close. Or it could continue doing what it wants to do. Like I said, it could respect or disrespect support and resistance as much as it wants. Right? So let me go to the VPS back again, and then let me go to IC markets, and let me prepare myself to get into. So Now that we identified the direction of the trade, we can go ahead and put a pending order, buy stop at 1 pip above this level, which is 1.16248. 1.16248. And then we're gonna put our stop loss where the 8M where the buy stop was, the first buy stop, 1 pip below that, was gonna be 1.16, which is gonna be 1 pip. Okay, 1.16078. 1.16078. And then we're gonna have the same take profit as the first trade, which is gonna be 1.16528. 1.16528. And then we are going to place it. As you can see, we placed. Son of a bitch, huh? Sorry, guys. Let me just use the same coordinates. My bad. I was supposed to go buy stop, pending order, buy stop, and I was using you guys didn't tell me I was using a 4.0 and a 3.7, guys. Hopefully price doesn't get there. If price does get there, then I'm not going to do it. I'm gonna have to be content with what I got here. 7, 8, and then we're going to put that at 1.16258. 1.16258. And then I have to quickly delete this one. Alright, there we go, guys. Like I said, we after the breaker structure, we're more than likely to retest. Probably wants to retest this line right here, which is also the peak of this level right here. If I maybe go to the 15-minute, it's probably better for you to see it. It wants, since it broke and close, it didn't break and close yet on the 15, but it did go beyond it. I'm not gonna be surprised if markets come and range around this area. Since we already have the entry over here, this is easy work. Easy work. Since market didn't touch the next level over, it could come all the way back to down to the AM candle price, and that's still a healthy move. The probability of it continuing in our direction is still more likely than not. But it can go back in reverse, which is another thing that markets definitely can do, but it's fine. Now, once we touch the second level bullish line, which is 20 pips above the 8M candle open price, which is 15 pips of profit for us, we're going to trail to break even, and we're not going to lose money for today unless we come back to break even, go 1 pip below, and then on the trailing position, not on no, on the scaling position on the live account will be a loss, but it won't be a full loss for me. But if it does go in more profit, it's going to increase my profits a lot more. And my goodness, the TP for one of these things is incorrect. So the TP for my scaling is wrong. I put the 2 in front of the 5 instead of the 5 in front of the 2. And this is one of the reasons why you need an EA to be doing these mathematical equations for you and executing, because it doesn't make human errors. Now, if Marcus would have did that, I probably would have been in the position and got a micro pip profit, and I would have been out of position, as well as lose the, let's say Marcus popped, right? I would have lost the best available position. I would not have been able to get into the trade. Or let's say markets did touch it and it went in drawdown. I probably would have had time to remove the TP if it did that though. But if it went straight back to drawdown, it still would have been low. So anyways, all right, forget that next scenario. Let's look at markets instead of yapping so much and be prepared to trail our stop loss, because it looked like markets trying to reach up, reach for the stars. So remember, we're trading our stop loss based off of 10 pips, not the 11 pips. 11 pips is for entries, or I mean the trades is based off of the entries and stuff like that. We are trading our stop loss based off of technical analysis. not trading analysis. That's why I'm going to separate. So that was one of the big things that changed my trading when I was able to separate these two frames of thought. You have technical analysis and then you have trading analysis. Technical analysis has to run the thought process, the ideas, the way that markets move have to run indiscriminate of what you believe your trading analysis is, because trading analysis have different factors that can affect it, like time, spread, volatility, speed, all types of stuff. So in your head, your technical analysis is in one train of thought. All right, enough talking. Let's move our to break even right over here on this account. And then I believe we open into both positions now, guys. So that's what's up. Close this. Let's move our position to break even. What is going 1.1678. There we go, baby. One pip below. Okay, now I have deja vu. So I've been here before. I've been here before. I'm supposed to shit. My bad, guys. I'm supposed to be here. Whenever I have deja vu, I know that it's not a coincidence. I don't believe in coincidence like that. Divine. God. No, no, no. Don't say goddamn yet. Don't say god. Oh yeah, goddamn. I thought it was ranging in the first. I thought it was ranging before. All right, guys. So once it moves 10 pips, we'll be 10 pips in profits. That's pretty nice, guys. Pretty nice. Mother fudger. All right, let's go. Let's put this. Yikes! Yowzers! All right. What can I do? I can go ahead and put my next strike over here. Strike over here. And then what we do next, guys, let's project our next bullish line, which is going to be bullish line level 3, which is 30 pips above the ADM kind of open price. And look, guys, the technical analysis is repeating the same, just like you copy and paste the lines over. You're repeating the same process. Copy and paste, add 10, subtract 10, over and over again. Not rocket science, guys. These guys are. I don't like talking about other traders, but different forms of technical analysis, especially when I was learning how to trade, was very subjective. It was hard to follow, hard to replicate, hard to prove. And this is just the same thing over and over again, because markets don't matter how confusing markets look like, it only can do so much. It only can do a few things. Only can do so many things, guys. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't look for a silver bullet. Once you accept the fact that you can and you will lose sometimes. I'm lagging like a motherfucker. Let's see what can I do to make the lag stop. Make it stop. Lagging like a motherfucker. What is doing this? What? Why would there be 3? Google Chrome is killing me right now. Camera hub, I can expect that. What can I remove that? WhatsApp came back from the dead. Widgets came back from the dead. Nothing else I can really do. Nothing else I can really do. I'm thinking, right? Should I run TradingView on, let me see if I run the TradingView on the VPS. Would that be more efficient? That's my 9 a.m. alarm, guys. So markets could go ahead and retest the first bullish line, leaving us 5 pips of profit. Love that markets have moved away from our entry and broken structure. If we can get it to hit this 10 pips, we will be profitable over the day regardless. Regardless if we hit TP or not, guys, we are going to be in profit and we'll have a profitable day. Can't complain. But it's up to markets to do what it do, what it do, what it do. If we look at the higher time frame, right, we do have a lot of space. If now markets want to continue, we do have a lot of space to cover, a lot of negative areas, like a magnet up here. But you know, usually markets don't might consolidate and stuff like that. Might not. You never know, guys. And if I can catch candles like this right here, I won't be complaining. But it looks like kind of like that, but maybe on the lower time frame, it goes back down 10 pips here or there. So, let's go back down to 15 minutes. All right. Let me make sure my IC markers is proper trailed. All right, we're up 120 ball. 120 ball. Uh, On FTMO, we can't lose money, so that's good. If we get 10 more pips across all accounts, we can't lose money. That should be great. Oh yeah, my bad, guys. Let me go ahead and put the live MT5 app on. Let's put this there. Just sign up for All right. Hopefully, this is the win streak that I've been well deserving of because I went through the loss streak. But it's up to the markets to do whatever it wants to do. We just have to experience it. We just have to manage the trades properly and do what you have to do. Sooner or later, when I get all of the settings for the EA updated to the newest version, is I won't have to try to stop loss manually. I could just play Call of Duty while you watch profit or loss. Okay, so I think it's about time I go ahead on my little monologue for today. The topic for today is going to be what was the topic for today, anyways? Okay, that's what it was. Topic for today is going to be execution. Execution. Now, like I was speaking about before, because I think I touched upon it a few times during this video, but the only thing that is in your control is your execution, your psychology, trade management, which is part of execution, um, and then the way that you trade, which is all the same thing. Well, it's just execution in general, right? Markets can do whatever it wants. It could respect structure, disrespect structure. It can move up, it can move down, it can move rationally, it can move irrationally. It could do whatever it wants. It's you who have made the decision to become a trader and to trade markets. You can't tell markets what to do. You can't say this is fair and this is not fair. People, market makers could manipulate markets. Your broker can manipulate your spread. Um, and then anything could happen at any moment of time. Donald Trump can come and say doodle garbage, and then or say let's go to war, and markets do whatever it wants to do after it does that, and not respect any one of the whatever trading information or trading laws or whatever like that you might think it should listen to. Right? The only thing that is in your control is how you trade. That's it. How you trade, showing up to the trade, your mentality while you're trading, your psychology while you're trading, how do you the things that you use during your trades, and then what you do after the trades, whether it's a win or a loss, whether you blow a count or you make $1 million. All those are going to be in your control, but the number one thing is execution. That's the only thing that you need to come into the markets. So once you learn technical analysis, well, once you learn and understand the basis of forex, then you learn technical analysis, then you learn trading and trade management. We retested the first bullish, no, what, the second bullish level, which is definitely healthy. We could take another 10 pips drawdown, which isn't a problem, right? Um, the where I was coming from. Okay, well, the only thing, well, the thing after you learn forex, the basis of forex, then you learn how to read and do technical analysis, like Japanese candlesticks or whatever, and then you learn trading, where you learn about trade theory, you're learning about strategies, you're learning about signals, you're learning about MT5, and then you learn risk management. When you learn risk management, how to properly trade on a trade by trade basis over a series of trades, and then you practically learn how to over leverage on one trade, so on and so forth. And then you learn about psychology, your mentality in trading, what to think and how to think, because this is um one of the only trades or professions that losing money is part of it. Being not being wrong, but yeah, losing money is part of the game or part of the job. You get what I'm saying? Calculated risk is a part of the job. Um, and then you can lose money while doing the right thing, and you can make money while doing the wrong thing. So this is a very, very dynamic, confusing thing, especially based off of human human evolution. Because when you lose money, it triggers something in your primal brain or prehistoric brain or caveman brain, that something is wrong, fight or flight, and something like that. And then when you're making money, it triggers dopamine in your brain. You feel euphoria, you feel on top of the world, and so on, etc. And that's how trades can manipulate your psychology, which in turn will manipulate how you execute your aggressiveness, your conservativeness. You sometimes your heart rate, your breathing, the way that you execute and get into and out of trades, so on and so forth. But if you understand that once you get all your ducks in a row, you have a strategy, you have risk management, you know your trading plan, you have a routine. Once you get all those in a row, you're still not done. You have to execute on these things every day or every time you trade. And then on top of that, I did get into another video that how trading translate into your life, your health, your working out, the time you wake up, your habits, your schedule, your routines, your relationships, your emotions outside of trading is very important, and it does incorporate into your execution. But the way that you execute, whether you have EA or you're manually trading, the way that you do that process, you have to treat it like a job. That's your job. That's the only thing that you control, and that's the only thing that you have to do perfect every single time. Trading makes you pay for mistakes. Like I said, you type in one number wrong, you put it in the wrong place, you could lose money. You could blow your account. You get what I'm saying? It doesn't matter if you have your personal account or you're managing a hedge fund. One button typed wrong, that's damn near your life. You might not die, but you might die financially. You get what I'm saying? So your execution is very important. That's why I implemented the EA, because it takes a lot of the execution off of my hands and put it into an algorithm. But still, how I manage the EA, having internet access, having access to a computer, the power's on, and even when I'm scaling or I'm not scaling, trailing, I do scaling as well. Me being able, how quickly I could do that. Now I do have mistakes in that. As you can see, I got my journal. I'm recording myself on a daily basis. I review the videos and I try to get better with the execution. And I try to, and sooner or later I'm gonna implement it in the strategy. But that's very important. So execution, that's your job. being a winner, being a winner, making $1 million, $1 billion, and whatever like that, that's not your job. Markets are determining that. Markets determine whether you're gonna make that money or not. You determine on getting into that position and getting out of that position, risking properly, staying in the game, being able to not blow the account, or if you want to blow the account, taking your proper risk. You get what I'm saying? That's in your hands. You get what I'm saying? So that's what you're supposed to focus on. Whether you win or lose a trade, that's neither here nor there. But if you make a mistake, whether it's a win or loss, that's why when I used to talk to other traders, especially I don't know a lot of traders, but my close homeboys or whatever like that, if I made a mistake and I made money, I would say that is worse than making a mistake and you losing money. Because when you make a mistake and you make money, you're more than likely to continue making that mistake or not working on that mistake because you made money. It's not wrong, but it is wrong. It's the worst type of wrong. Because let's say you made money making a mistake and you didn't fix that error. Like, okay, I had a trade. I lost the trade and I got in because of whatever. I just felt like it was time to get in. I felt like the market, the thing didn't invalidate the reason I got into trade. Now, if you're an experienced trader and you know what you're doing, sometimes you can use intuition and discretion, but it's a more, I'll say that's a more unquantifiable form of um of knowledge, or just that's something like it's basically a strategy in your head. You just didn't write it down because you've seen it so many times, but that's neither here or there. But if you get into a trade because of fear missing out or greed, and you do not fix that issue and you made money, you're gonna do it again. You're gonna do it again. You're gonna do it again until you get into that one trade that's gonna smack you in the mouth, and then you're gonna lose all the money. And then now, once you get into that loss, and it was your fault that you lost, that's when you're probably gonna work on a trade. Only when people start losing money do they start looking back at their execution and how they're managing their positions and how they're doing what they're doing. But especially that's why beginner's luck is very bad when you get into trading. When you have beginner's luck, you're not working on execution. You just getting into the markets and making money. You think that you already got it. And like I say, just as fast as you get to a million is just as fast as you're gonna get to zero. The only thing that's gonna change is your lifestyle and your cost of living. It was better that you was broke and didn't make a million than you are broke minded and make a million. You can take that to the bank. Um, so yeah, the execution is very, very important, and one of the only factors that are in your hands, and you should trade it as such, and you should execute as efficiently and as effectively as possible. If you can trade like a robot, manage to trade like a robot, that'd be better for you. And then you should go ahead and work on all the other things outside of execution, like getting your life together, getting your health together, getting your routines together, cutting out all the bad habits that you have. Um, because a lot of the bad habits that you have will translate into trading. Maybe not now, maybe not later, not in the near future, but sooner or later, those bad habits are gonna bleed into your trading and bleed into your life, and then you're gonna have to face them sooner or later. And then you want to work on your psychology, and psychology is just like working on your layup. It's one of those things that you want to constantly work on, because even as you get better as a trader, your confidence is gonna get better, and then that confidence is gonna get into arrogance, and then arrogance is gonna get you into greed, and greed is gonna make put you in positions that you don't want to be in. So you want to constantly work on your psychology, even though you're good or you're mentally fine. Still watch those videos, still practice psychology, and then analyze, reflect on yourself. Then the next one that I continue to mess up because I don't put too much emphasis on it my own self is journaling. You, for me, I have to write it down. Other people use spreadsheets and stuff like that. Journaling your trades, journaling your execution, journaling your psychology, journaling price action is very important. It's a documenting. So once you have a framework of what's working, what's not working, you can go ahead and improve on what's working, and then you could go ahead and eliminate on what's not working. But if you think that you can have that all mentally, yeah, 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 I know, yeah, 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 I fucked up yesterday, or I messed up yesterday, I got it, I got it right here. No, 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 no. Write it down, put it in a spreadsheet, journal it, and then that's the only way you could quantify what's going on, as well as go back into like, damn, I used to be like that, and track your progress, or damn, I see I'm gradually progressing, and you have proof that you've been gradually progressing. You get what I'm saying? Very, very important. Whether you journal physically or you journal digitally, go ahead and journal. Everything, guys. Everything is important. Everything is important. That's why follow my boy Andre Diaz on YouTube. I think he's on Instagram. I don't know his Instagram, but follow him on all social media platform. Oh, great guy. And then it'd be like the simplest things, bro. Dude probably have like 1,000 hours of videos, but it's 2 seconds when he says the way you do one thing is the way that you do everything. That's all you needed. That's all I needed to get to a level mentally that got me to where I am now. I've been far, but it got me to the next level that I am now. In my trading, where the one thing that you do, the way that you one thing is the way that you do everything. The way that you trade is the way that you're supposed to be approach life. And then not until I started waking up a specific time. I used to wake up early, but I'm talking about consistently early, waking up 4 a.m., working out, doing my routines, doing my the things that I'm supposed to do, just like I'm supposed to be doing it. We're almost there, right? We're almost at the next line, so I gotta keep my eyes open, doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Outside of trading, the same way like I'll do it in trading, got me to a point where I get on there is actually a vibration to all things, right? I got onto that vibration of trading where now I was able to see it in a way that, like I said, like your lens, your perception, and the way that your mind assimilate information. What you see in reality and the way that you assimilate information is two different things. There's a layer of translation that could be positive, it could be negative. And not until I got into that frequency of trading by doing my routine and focusing on trading was my brain able to assimilate information and then tell me what was missing in my trading, how to properly show my stop loss. You get what I'm saying? What improvements did I need to make? Now, the information was already there. Like, the information to make me a billionaire millionaire is already there. I already have the structure, but it's just certain things that need to click here, or certain things that need to click mathematically, or in the strategy, or in the EA, or in just a spark of an idea will get me to that next level. And then once I realized that the one thing that you do, the way that you do one thing is the way that you do everything, was I able to get in that position where I was able to fix the errors that I was needing to fix without anybody having to tell me anything. So yeah, so we are about a few pips away from 30 pips above the 88 candle open price. I like the fact that we are maybe a pip away, because that means that price is probably gonna try to retest this level without retesting the second level below it, and then continue forward. But this is not gonna be considered a retest in my eyes. The first retest will be right over here. So I'm not gonna put a blue dot right there. We just have, instead of having a 10 pip range, we have a 19 pip range. Very healthy for markets to go ahead and do. But if markets want to go ahead and reverse, it can reverse. It's been moving pretty bullish for a while now. If it wants to breathe, it can breathe, right? Uh, Let's go. Let's check out TradingView for a second here. Was I lagging the entire? I doubt I was lagging the entire time. Yeah, we don't have to do anything until. All right, let's bring it to the fifth. Let's leave it on there. Let's leave it there. All right. What we at? What, 9:15? What? Probably thinking these rants be like an hour long. And they don't. But we up about 4,008. Oh, whoa, 5Gs right there. Popped up. We're up 5Gs on the FTMO. We are, oh, pivoted right back up, guys. That's positive. And I already was looking at FTMO. And then we're up, what, 70? Oh, 7,500. 175 on the live. Come on, guy. Come on. You gotta tap that line for me so I could trail my stop loss. And then we will have locked in profits on everything across the board, FTMO, and we'll lock in profits for FTMO. We'll lock in profits for what you gonna call it? IC Markets, the live account. I also want to make I want to make time based stop loss trailing parameters where maybe the markets didn't, especially when I'm in profit, like yesterday and the day before yesterday, right? So maybe the markets didn't move 10 pips, but if we're so deep into profits, maybe because if we stay in a range for a certain amount of time, I close the position for a profit, or I trail my stop loss a lot more aggressively, in anticipation of a reversal, or just to get out the markets for the highest possible. Because remember, when you're trading, markets have peaks and troughs, right? It got peaks, then it'll have a little bit of a retracement, drawdown, peaks and troughs. Sometimes when you're at the peak, and you don't get out and you wait too long, it's gonna go ahead and retrace and maybe make a retracement or a reversal, whatever it may be. I gotta go ahead and check him out because I haven't responded to him in a minute. Whatever it may be. Okay. Yeah. What in the world did it happen on? Okay, we're trailing it. It happened on FTMO, but it didn't happen on IC markets, which is very interesting. Let's go ahead and trail it over here. All right, guys, we're locking in Profetos. That's why I like trading on multiple brokers, because it gives you more discretion as to what's actually happening, a more diverse view. If you believe just FTMO, you wouldn't believe that we already hit what you call it that level, and then the difference between a few seconds is money. So you gotta be careful. So let's figure out what is 6 pips below 1.16238. Let me double check because I want the accurate. 1.16238 minus 0.0006 is 1.16178. That's where our stop loss should be. All right. Oh, I think I got it right on one of them. Stop loss up here now. Paste. Correct. That's where our stop loss should be. Oh, didn't move that one. Look at that. Modify, delete. All right. So we broke and closed above that resistance level. Well, a long time ago. A long time ago. And if we could go ahead and have that magnet of price action just magnetize us bullish, I would love that. I would love to see it happen without any retracements. But can't beg. Beggars can't be choosers. We gotta look at what Marcus is doing and respect what Marcus is doing. So yeah. Now we're looking at a retest of this level. If we retest this level, Marcus is more than likely to do so, and it's breathing. If we continue moving lower, then we're probably going to retrace. And if we go ahead and stop us out, it will be out for a profit. No need to complain. But if we retest this one and then go back bullish, that's also going to be good for us. And then if we retest and then go back up one, the probability of it continue to the next one is more than likely, but it can retest again and go lower, or if it can retest again and touch it again, and that would be like a consolidation where Marcus is ranging for a while. I'm not gonna expect something like that until like closer to 12 o'clock, but everything is possible in the market. So yeah, we're profitable today, so nothing to complain about. Not even a 1-to-1 though, because yeah, I'm trying to accommodate for spreads and slight fluctuation in markets. So sometimes when it retests, it doesn't sometimes don't just tap that line right below. It would go like maybe I'll give it a range of 5 pips. That's why I put a 6 pips below. Sometimes it go like 5 pips and then go back forward. So now we have to watch out for the retest. We have to watch out for different forms of retest. Whereas between 1 to 5 pips below that retest level, and they'll move forward. So I think that's a 0.5 to 1. If we come back and try to move lower, there goes the fucking camera. But profit is profit, guys. Profit is profit. Profit is profit. Profit is profit. Definitely want to close more than 4 grand each one because I'll be risking 4 grand on each one. Got to get my maths up. Alrighty, guys. This is a 1 minute. Let's go back down to 15. Never underestimate the markets and always be ready for the opportunity. All right, we can go ahead and put our next bullish strike or dot at this level right here. So markets move 30 pips without a 10 pip retracement. The likelihood of it retracing 10 pips is more than likely now, highly likely now, but it's definitely possible to go ahead and continue moving bullish. So that we just clone over this line, which is 1.16338, and we're gonna update it to 1.16438, which can be 40 pips. 16438. You see? Like I said, bro, change this one and not the other one. Hilarious. I doubt we're gonna go below this level anymore. Alrighty. Let me pull this up for you guys a little bit more. Right now it's around like what? Nuevo? Okay, that probably should. I could scrunch this up for you guys. Can I? Yeah, scrunch it up so we can go ahead and see profit and loss a little bit better. All right, perfect. We see everything now. What was I gonna say? Now it's around like 9 o'clock. I've noticed a lot more people join my stream on YouTube around 9 o'clock. I guess it's when they at work and they have nothing to do, so they because I got the most views on my live stream, and those views were like right when I closed the live stream. At what time was it? What time I closed that live stream the other day? If it was 10 o'clock was news, I closed it like 12, 11 ish, and I had 75. I had 75 views on the live stream, and they was actually watching it concurrently pretty long. Yeah, no, no, no. I wouldn't be in profit. I wouldn't be in profit on the live account. I'll actually, I'll be in profit. Yeah, I'll still be in profit, but I'll lose a little bit of money from the original trade based off of the stop loss of the base. Now I got another idea. Lag stop loss of scaling. Now I gotta go and test that. Me have to test it. If we go below this candle, then higher likelihood of a deeper retracement. I wouldn't say reversal. I'm not gonna jump and say reversal yet. A deeper retracement is likely. May not say reversal. May I say retracement? All right. Touch this line. We're just gonna update it. Put our blue dot on technical analysis, but it's just gonna be a 10 pip retracement. And then that's healthy. We're gonna look forward to a pivot on that level right here to move back 10 pips. Just letting the markets breathe because it did a very very beautiful rally to the upside, and we haven't retested any previous levels as of yet. Unfortunately, our stop loss, our trailing stop is going to be right here, and then the next retested level is going to be here, or the next retested level is going to be here. Give me a beautiful candle, man. Give me one of them beautiful candles. Marcus ain't liable to give you nothing, so it is nice to see that it closed here, but it opened here, so that would indicate bullish pressure. Yeah, I believe I put up Fibonacci. This is probably gonna be a 2.36, 2.38 retracement. I don't think it's gonna be a 36.8 though. Would it be if I do this to this? But a 50%, it might be a 36. Might be. But I don't use none of those things, so it doesn't matter to me. None. Later on, I probably might start using Confluence, but right now I gotta stick to what's working, um, and optimize it when it needs to be optimized. But don't play with it if it don't need to be played with. Still collecting my data. Since it's a gap, it can try to go ahead and fill the gap. But let's see how strong bullish pressure is right here. Oh, they move below. Okay, that would signal me to go ahead and update my technical analysis. So we have our first retest of the day. Like I said, very healthy in market movements to retest a level 10 pips below. Now we're net neutral at the 10, 20, third bear bullish level, 30 pips above, 30 to 20 pips range above the 80M candle open price, which is what, 15 pips above the my buy stop. I'm probably break even or a little bit in drawdown because of spreads at this level. And then we have our trailing stop, which is 6 pip below the second level bullish line to allow markets to go ahead and fluctuate and pivot. If markets do not pivot around this level and continue moving lower, I'm out of the markets and it could do whatever it wants to do. I'm not gonna be aggressive with anything. Yeah. I'll take my profits for the day and keep on rolling. And that's what it looked like it might be doing. And it's still a very, very healthy move. I'm not saying any reversal is gonna happen, but it's not going at the angle that I'm gonna be in the markets for any longer. hmm How much more? We got one more minute in that 5 minute candle, but and that would indicate a break and close of the previous two bearish candles. So there can be a retest of that break or not. Oh, you guys can't see, can you? There we go. I don't see any resistance now. It's like Don't see too much resistance for it to continue moving lower. So the odds of me getting stopped out is higher than likely. Definitely higher than likely. But the odds of me not getting stopped out is still possible. Is it probable? At this point, no. We don't have too much range for it to move, but you never know with markets, right? And then right now the spreads are pretty decent. The spreads and the spread price and the ask price is exactly the same. I don't know why I say point 0.8, but right there on each other. So I'm not gonna be not accidentally, but what word would I use? Prematurely stopped out by spreads. So if I'm out because of market price, and that's better than getting out for spreads. And I don't know how people do this braid stuff, bro. I don't know how ladies leave their braids in for. I ain't gonna go on my ladies like that, but she. I need my hair to breathe at least once a week. I got 2 days of breathing, bro. Let that afro breathe. Whew. Braid killing me. But now when they braid my hair, it's not as tight. The first time or the second time I got my hair braided, Jesus Christ, bro. My bro, I could I could hear my own thoughts, dog. That's how tight them braids were, bro. Could feel my heartbeat in my head, dog. And they do that, man. They're like about to flip over to the dark side. All right, hold on, guys. I gotta take this call for a second. Give me Sorry for the wait. Let's fix the webcam. And then look at that, guys. Look at that. Ain't that about a bitch? Even if I did give it a pip, I gave it a look at that. Ain't that about a bitch, huh? Re-enter? No, I will not re-enter the trade. I have made a trading decision on how I'm gonna trade. I got stopped out. Nothing I could do about that. We're gonna have a lot of opportunities where it's not gonna do none of this, and it's going to give us the money that we want. But like I said, we are profitable for the day. Not to say that we got all the profit that is going to be available for the day, but what we do have is what $30 off of $50, what $24.60 on the live account, and then on the FTMO account, we are do history give us around $1,900, closer to $2,000. That's with the subtracting the commission, right? Yep. So it's back to a 1-to-1, which is what I really wanted. But we got stopped about a few pips. Can't do nothing about that, right? That's better than losing a trade, right? Definitely better than losing a trade. And we are net positive for the day. We are net positive for the week. We are net positive for the accounts. And now we are, like I said, we are outside of the summer season. Summer had a lot of bullshit going on. Not to mention, I wasn't 100% prepared for summer. We learned from our mistakes. We got 1%. We are getting 1% better every day. All of this price action that we are seeing is something that we're gonna implement into our strategy. Would I say the one thing that I did learn that I probably could implement into the strategy that I could back test is if I'm going to scale in, which probably is gonna probably make me more money in the long term, is that if I'm going to scale in when we reach a 1-to-1, instead of moving both of the stop losses, I probably could keep the scale in position stop loss um at the same area just in case situations like this happen and the original position gets stopped out, we can go ahead and clean up because sometimes I do notice that um the original position because of the trail is not always the best, but on average it's the best. It's the most probable stop loss, not the most probable stop loss trailing method. But if I do two different stop loss trailing methods, I could diversify where I'm getting stopped out at. Instead of getting stopped out at a 1-to-1 or this is a 0.5-to-1, this is halfway. We could go ahead and pull out that full 1-to-1 when we have that second position trailing. And then just in case we get both of the stop losses not hit, we could go ahead and go to the moon with both of the positions. And let me write that down. I already did stop loss of the scale lag. Yep, I got that down, and I'm gonna go ahead and after I finish all the other work I have to do, I'm gonna go ahead and see if we can do that. And then maybe next week, if I do everything by then, we will have a new trailing method that might be more profitable than the method that we have now. But you got to remember that the opportunities that are going to happen next week are going to be completely different than the opportunities that we have now. We had one trade that we lost on Monday. We won two trades back to back. The probability of the next trade being a winner is less probable, but possible. The probability of it being a loser is more probable. We do have I would say a one trade buffer where if we lose the next trade on the FTMO account, we'll probably be either a little bit of a drawdown or we'll be break even. But we have to be here to trade every single day, take the data as the data comes, and then those big trades and those big wins we're going to experience them, but we have to not have blown the accounts or anything like that. So guys, if you click the link in my bio, if you're on TikTok, it's gonna give you access to my YouTube channel. It's gonna give you access. I think the Discord. I have to update the Discord link. I'm gonna do that once I get off. Access to my Discord and everything. If you want to join the Discord, you want contact with me, go ahead and click those links. Like the video, subscribe, follow, whatever form of information you want to do, go ahead and do it. Thank you guys for joining the live streams. And I'm gonna go put some more work in for you guys. You want access to the EA, contact me. If you want to continue trading with me every morning, I'm gonna be here tomorrow at 7:30. Thanks once again. See you guys tomorrow.